Is woke Snow White not actually a fan of Snow White? Is she actually getting harassed on the internet? Are content creators responsible for cultivating this outrage? What's up, Bears? Eric here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about Rachel Zegler and the upcoming Snow White movie and going over some of the misinformation and disinformation, trying to debunk some of that here on my channel. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. Let's get into it. Okay, so I saw this tweet today from Josiah Rises. If that name sounds familiar, it's because we have talked about him before in the past. He is one of the many people in GriftTube, ScamTube, the outrage click cultivating community here, where anything that will get people upset to click on something, they will follow until it's no longer profitable, and they just forget about it and move on because they don't really care about any of this stuff. They just simply want clicks on their videos. And that makes them very disingenuous with their content. And you're going to see here why it's important for people to take a step back when you see something and actually look into it before you get mad about it. I think that's really important. So this is Rachel Zegler, who is playing the new Snow White, and there's a video here, and we're not going to watch the video because it's a 2-minute video, but I will sort of paraphrase what's happening in the video. So she's sitting in front of her computer, and she's pretty upset about getting death threats, being harassed, having a lot of things happen to her, and she's just kind of talking about it for 2 minutes, talking about her life and the way things are. And doesn't really, it's an edited clip, and it doesn't really talk about specifically Snow White. Like in this clip, she doesn't talk about Snow White. There's a reason for that. But Josiah Rises here says Snow White actress trashes Snow White. So that's the first thing that we have to look at and go, oh, I wonder what that means. Well, it's from here. It's from this EW interview. I believe it was Entertainment Weekly, the interview she did with Gal Gadot. And they're saying that she trashed Snow White. Right? That she's not a fan of Snow White. And that's problematic for a lot of reasons. We'll get to that. But this is what she actually said. Let's listen to what she said about Snow White in full context.
I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again. Like, I'm being so serious. I watched it once and then I went on the ride in Disney World, which was called Snow White's Scary Adventures. Doesn't sound like something a little kid would like. Was terrified of it.
Okay.
Never revisited Snow White again. So I watched it for the first time in probably 16, 17 years when I was doing this film.
Okay, so there's the context. She watched the movie once. She was already scared of it for whatever reason. Kids get scared of stuff all the time. She was afraid of the movie for whatever reason. Probably the witch or something in the movie scared her. She went on a ride that also scared her, that connected to the Snow White movie, and so she never went back and watched it. That is the full context of what she said. Snow White actress trashes Snow White is false. That is not what she did. She's talked about dismantling the original thing to make it something new, okay? This is what they're taking away from it is her wanting to do something more progressive, something more modern, and they take that as an attack on something. It's not an attack. That's simply her talking about what the context of the movie is and what her character is going to be like. They're making it more modern. Modernizing something doesn't mean trashing the original. And this is the kind of stuff that this community sort of hinges on, is getting you mad about tradition. And I always say, in my opinion, fuck tradition. Like I'm someone that, like, tradition is just a way to control people. That's all it is. Tradition is a way to control what people do and how people act. If you're doing something new, you're doing something modern, and I don't want to see it, I don't want to watch it, I can simply not watch it. It's not like they're destroying it and erasing it from the internet entirely, or they're erasing it from the world. They're taking it away from you. They're not coming into your house and taking your Blu-rays and your DVDs and your VHS tapes. They're not doing that. So you can still love the original, 100% support the original, and not go watch this or see this or support it at all. Receives backlash from fans for terrible takes. It's funny that you use trashes for her, but then you call fans being hateful towards her backlash. Let's take a look at what you consider backlash, right? Here's one. Here's a page of videos. Ryan Cannell, Little Joe, Ryan Cannell really loves talking shit about Snow White. Look, Jesse Grant here. Liar. Crowder is talking about Snow White. Interesting that all of these adult men are so triggered by a children's cartoon. Yeah, very interesting. And I don't mean like just being upset. I mean just literally being outraged by a children's cartoon. Is this the wokest look, Ben Shapiro, is this the wokest Disney remake? And let's just take a look at you. What have you done, Josiah? Oh, here you go. You've used the same picture, the same graphic in 2 of them, the same tiers in all 3 of them, and just changed the text over here. And you started doing it 10 months ago. So you've been talking about this movie for almost a year, and you're doing it because you're getting outrage clicks on it. The views on it are really good because people like to click on hateful content. Because I don't think you're a real true fan of Snow White. Sorry, I don't believe it. You can say it all you want. I don't fucking believe it. Plays victim after backlash, right? Puts this video up and acts like you got something on her. Well, let's see here. Apparently, this is a video from before Snow White stuff. Oh, well, she's still a twat. So instead of just deleting it and retracting it and going, I fucked up, I shared a video with some misinformation in it, you just double down on being a shitty person to her and do not act as if you did anything wrong. Here, you're totally okay with misrepresentation. You're totally okay with spreading lies and mistruths, disinformation, being offensive and harassing the actress. You're totally okay with that. And you think it's funny, which means you don't give a shit. You don't care about any of the stuff that you're talking about here. You're not a real huge fan of this property. You are simply doing it to make money off of the clicks. And the thing about her not being a true fan of Snow White, not being a true fan, as if that's some prerequisite for actors. Like now actors can't just take jobs and play characters in movies and TV shows. Now they have to be diehard, lifelong fans. Is that the new metric? Is that the new goalpost for people that are cast and stuff? Is that they have to be huge, massive fans of that when they go into it? Because I can tell you right now, your feelings are gonna be very hurt when you find out a lot of your favorites cast in certain roles were not fans of the original content. They were not lifelong fans of all of these things. That should not be a prerequisite of going into doing a movie or a TV show or anything like that. That seems like a really weird bar to set when it comes to acting. It's almost like you're admitting that experience is important when somebody is acting in a role, which would mean authenticity, right? You're arguing that. But I guarantee if people were to say, oh, only trans people should play trans characters, or only gay people should play gay characters, or things like that, you would get upset about it because you would go, oh no, the best person for the role should play the role. They shouldn't be casting for that. But then the new goalpost is that the person who is cast in a role for a fictional character has to be a massive fan of that character in order to be valid. It's a weird goalpost and it's bullshit. And you guys are harassing her. You are absolutely 100% harassing this actress, but you don't care. You don't care about the property. You don't care about the harm you're doing. And in a couple of months, you're probably not going to care about talking about her anymore unless she's doing something new that fits into your outrage clicks. Y'all are disingenuous and you spread all this hate and outrage. And I wish YouTube would clean up their algorithm.